Chris is ready.
Welcome everyone to the studio of The Light Show. We're all here to experience peace. So hopefully you left your stress at the door, but if you're really attached to it, then you can pick it up on the way out. So, in today's program, we'll be experiencing stillness, silence, laughter and joy, wisdom and insights, and peace, here in the beautiful grounds of this global retreat centre. So thank you all for being our fabulous studio audience. I'm Bobby, and I'm your floor manager, bobbing in and bobbing out. So make yourselves comfortable. I'd like to introduce you because we're going live to air. So you're going to see cameras and a tech team bobbing in and bobbing out. So here are our fabulous tech team. Give them a wave. Yeah, that's it. And Rajesh's fabulous camera crew, cameras 1, cameras 2, cameras 3. You, hello, thank you. Give them a round of applause. Why not? Let's go for it. That's it. Yeah, because they're very important. And what else have we got? We've got my fabulous crew, backstage crew. Give them a wave. Yep, that's it. Yeah, fabulous. And of course, we've got the front of house crew, really hard working. And if you've got any issues, any problems happen, you go straight to them. They're all around. You can see them all around. And of course, we've got our fabulous special guest speakers who are full of insight and wisdom, and we're very, very lucky to have them. So can we give them a round of applause, a bit of a wave to the camera? That's it, that's it. Fabulous. So I think it's time for a bit of housekeeping. So we all love our mobile phones, don't we? So we're here to relax, though. Spend time for yourself, just chilling out. So can I ask you to really turn your mobile phones off right now? Thank you. Now, toilets. If you need the toilets, you've probably already found them, but they're over that way somewhere. But, just follow your nose. Now, first aid. If anything happens, if something untoward happens, you're not feeling, you just go to the crew round the edges. The front of house crew. So we've got a really packed show for you here today, so I'd really like to introduce you now to our fabulous presenters. So can we welcome our ever-sparkling Sunny? Hey, give him a round of applause. That's it, fabulous. And our beautiful Dawn, isn't she beautiful? That's it, give her a round of applause. And our uplifting Joy, here she joys, yeah. And our ever-elegant Serena. So, right, I think we're ready to go to air. Fabulous. So, going live. Could I have quiet in the studio, please? Going live. 5, 4, 3.
And Dawn.
And we're here from our special location at the Global Retreat Centre on this beautiful sunny day.
And isn't it a beautiful day, Dawn?
It really is. It is such a treat to be away from the studio.
Now, if it's been a bit of a stressful week, I have a feeling it's all about to change.
Absolutely, because today on The Light Show, we're all about bright ideas to light you up from inside. And meditation is definitely one of those ideas.
So, if you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed like we all are sometimes, get ready to feel relaxed, rejuvenated, and rebalanced.
Here's a little rundown of what we have in store for you today. Still to come on The Light Show. From mushroom drinks to meditation miracles. And we're just getting started.
She's graceful, she's wise, and she's here to show us how to deal with life's challenges. We'll be chatting with Sister Genty.
And then at 5:10, we're back with our ever-popular Inner Weather Report.
And then we have our very own Serena Waters. She'll be sharing hopeful stories from around the world.
Speaking of hope, journalist Neville Hodkinson will be here on the sofa, live, talking about how to stay hopeful in unpredictable times.
Plus, we're stirring the pot quite literally with peaceful lifestyle ideas that you can try at home.
And then wrapping up with a live performance from rap artist and light spreader Lacky C.
It's all coming up after the break.
Introducing Ice Cream, the world's first emotion-calling ice cream. Designed to save your breath when all you want to do is scream. Stuck in traffic? Kids drawing on the walls? Boss just emailed? Just take a scoop of ice cream, let it dissolve on your tongue, and feel your fury fade. One mouthful soothes frustration. 2 mouthfuls? Inner peace. 3? You may not even remember what you were angry about. Ice cream. For when life gets heated, cool it down from the inside out. Terms and conditions apply. Ice cream is not a licensed medical product. Results may vary. Excessive consumption may lead to brain freeze, temporary loss of memory, or unplanned naps. Not suitable for people allergic to dairy, calm, or contentment. Do not operate heavy machinery or sign important contracts while under the influence of ice cream. Always lick responsibly. Side effects include unexpected kindness, deep contentment, and mild philosophical thoughts. Keep frozen. Not available in stores.
Welcome back.
I love these adverts. They're getting more and more cheesy every week.
They really are.
I'm really enjoying being here at the Global Retreat Centre. It's just so lovely, all these activities that are going on in the grounds. I think there was a sitar playing up somewhere, or maybe, and then there was stuff inside the house here as well. So lovely.
It really is so lovely. It feels like we're coming home, and to be honest with you, I'd quite like to live here. But honestly, there's something very special that happens when a large group of people come together and meditate.
Yeah, I mean, meditating on your own, it just isn't as fun or as powerful as, it's not the same as when you're in a group. I remember once when I was in India on a retreat, actually, and I was in a room at 4 o'clock in the morning full of 25,000 people meditating. It was unbelievable. Pin drop silence, 4 o'clock in the morning. I know that sounds crazy. But it was really just such a special thing. Yeah, can you imagine that many people in a room meditating peacefully? Yeah, it was incredible.
It is amazing. And studies have shown that when the collective energy happens, when people come together in meditation or prayer, and it can actually make a huge difference in the reduction of crime rates, which is quite amazing and something we need at this time.
Absolutely. Have you heard the story of the silent minute?
No.
So after the Second World War, a British soldier spoke to, a German soldier spoke to a British officer and had felt that one of the reasons why Britain won the war was because we had a weapon that they had no counter weapon for, and it was the silent minute. And so it was every evening at 9 p.m. during the war, Big Ben would strike for 1 minute of peace, of silence. Everyone would stop everywhere across the country to stop for peace. I'd never heard this story before. I mean, it's incredible. All those years ago when no one was really talking about meditation or stopping, it was incredible.
You sort of wonder, it's a no-brainer. Why don't we just
do
that?
Yeah, I mean, of course,
every country.
Nobody really wins the war, but but it was definitely something that contributed to bringing about peace, at least.
And it is incredible because it does show that we have the power in our hands to make make a huge change.
Absolutely. Which leads very nicely onto our jam moment.
Now, this is not the kind that you put on toast.
No, jam, J-A-M, just a minute, where we pause, take a moment, and feel the peace. So sit back, relax for a moment, put anything down, and here we go.
Now, as you sit in your own accumulated peace, feel the quiet joy that has blossomed from it. This feeling is not just for you. Imagine this peaceful, joyful energy radiating from you like the gentle warmth of the sun. Without any effort, send this feeling of calm and quiet happiness into the room around you, to the people in your life, and to the world. As you share it, feel it growing even stronger inside you. Peace, when shared, always multiplies.
So lovely.
We've been doing those jam moments for a little while now, and I kind of love that our viewers are just all there, pausing for a moment, whatever they're doing, wherever they are, for a moment of peace. It must be having an impact.
Yeah, so if it is, please do write in, let us know. You can email the Light Show at .net.com.theword.the.
Now, from jam to jamming. Our next guest is turning pain into poetry. Rap artist and meditator Lacky C joins us to share how inner peace became his power.
Let's take a look.
Whatever background, culture or religion, whatever job, occupation or position, go beyond the pigment, colour of the skin, start noticing we're all souls within, so...
Hi Lacky, how you doing?
I'm really good, thank you. It's really nice to be here.
Welcome to the Light Show. It's your first time on the show, I believe?
It's my first time, but it feels like I've been here before.
Great, well, warm welcome to you.
Thank you.
Lovely to see you. So tell us what got you into rapping. How did you start? What made you do it?
Yeah, it was really my love for like poetry. So when I was young, I used to love writing poems. And what kind of happened was that I felt the poems weren't being heard. The poems were like, I felt like skeletons. So my first song was actually a poem on music, and that's what it kind of developed. So my love through poetry, really. Yeah.
And was there anything particularly going on in your life that you started rapping about?
Well, I was only like 14 years old at the time, but I'd say one thing that was going on was bullying. So I was being bullied at school. And I used it as kind of therapy. I'd write down my feelings and emotions and how to process that. So music for me was really therapy, or poetry was therapy. And yeah, I really advise anyone that is being bullied, try like writing, try, journaling. Poetry really helps.
How interesting. And did you notice the difference then from after you started doing that, using your poetry, your rap, in terms of the bullying at school?
Yeah, I think I noticed that the tension within me and the anger definitely disappeared. And just kind of understanding my feelings. I didn't even realize sometimes I was feeling in certain ways, but just like writing it down helps me to process actually what I'm feeling and putting pen to paper.
And did you also feel your self-confidence growing as you were maybe seeing that the writing was quite good?
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the songs we did was about bullying, and years later, I actually went back to my old school where the bullying happened. It's really therapeutic to go back to something where a traumatic event happens, and kind of went back to that place. And for me, it's kind of like part of the healing journey. So
Did you perform the school? Did you perform the song in the school?
Yeah, I did. So we didn't perform the song, but we shot the music video at the school.
Oh wow!
One Saturday, yeah.
How incredible! So you really used that in delivering your message.
Yeah.
You went back to the site of the situation. That's incredible.
Turning pain into power.
Yeah. When did you? So you're a meditator. When did you start meditating, and how has that impacted your work?
So my mom first got into meditation. I think it was 2006. And from then, she kept telling me, you know, come to meditation. And at the time, I wasn't interested at all. But what kind of helped me was seeing her change. So I seen her transformation. She was very angry to begin with. She used to shout a lot. You know, I suppose most moms do. But yeah, with the meditation, I noticed she became peaceful. But not only peaceful, she became very powerful. And then I was suddenly like, okay, now I want to know where you're going because I want to feel like this. I want to be like that.
Great. And now you use the meditation for yourself, but also for others. Tell us about your work in mental health and how you've used what you've learned with others.
Yeah, so I work as a 111 mental health advisor. If you dial 111 and press option 2, you get through to mental health, and you could get through to me potentially, but. But yeah, it's a 24/7 helpline, and anyone that suffers with mental health, really like encourage them that there's help out there. I've been doing it for 10 months now, and it ranges people just feeling depressed, wanting a chat, to people that are on the verge of ending their life. So we see if they need the ambulance or the police or the crisis team. And one thing I noticed actually in the 10 months I've been there, the number of calls have probably quadrupled. Yeah, loads of calls at the minute, very busy.
Did call you, I mean, your voice is just so calming and gentle, and it's very soothing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Tell us, are there any particular stories that you can think of that have been, you know, you've been able to use what you've learnt?
Yeah, I think like listening is the main like aspect of the job. Like you have to be a good listener. One time we was doing a safe and well call, and it was someone's 80th birthday, and it was my turn to do the safe and well call, and I think it must have been about 2 p.m. And when I called the person, wished him a happy birthday, and he said it's the first time that he's spoken to someone today, and I like asked him about his family, and he said he doesn't really have any family, and we're meant to give about 10 minutes to the caller, and I gave about 15. And all I did for the whole call was just to listen to him. And at the end of the call, he said, you really made my birthday. And I remember then I valued the importance of listening and how much that meant to that person.
And you've also which is an interesting thing, done a meditation commentary for someone on the line as well, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So there was one caller, she was having a panic attack. And she actually asked me, can you do a meditation commentary? So we kind of say, what's your safe space? And her safe space, it was a beach. So I kind of Googled it, and I did a meditation commentary around that beach, and, you know, about the sea and the sand, and really trying to tune into how she was feeling. And by the end of the call, she was fine. She was perfectly calm. And then I told her at the end, I said, this is your natural quality. This is who you are. And the panic attack was gone.
Incredible.
Wow.
Honestly, you think that our modern times where they say with AI that so many people are losing jobs, but your job, you know, you cannot put AI in a job like that, because it's the human connection, listening,
and the personal practice also. You know, the
absolutely.
fact that you're able to give back to someone what you practice, I think, is incredible in just a short space of time too. 5 minutes.
That's right.
It's incredible.
Thank you.
Impact.
Yeah. So, Lacky, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for
got a
having
short
me.
time with you, but we will be seeing you later on.
We wish you all the very best with this single that's coming out.
And you've only just written it, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right. I wrote it last week.
Amazing. And we're going to be hearing from you later, so we're definitely
Fantastic.
looking forward to that.
Fresh out of the recording studio. Thanks, Lacky.
Thank you, guys.
After the break, we'll be meeting the incredible Sister Genty. See you in a bit.
This is the Whispering Walls collection. Infused with rare Martian botanicals. They're washable, wipeable and remarkable. Each colour restores complete emotional, mental and physical equilibrium for the optimum monk life experience. Silent sand, for thoughts so still, time takes a nap. Lemon zest, for ideas that make your toaster weep with joy. Seafoam drift, for mornings rinsed in mermaid sweat and clarity. Blending colour therapy with the latest paint technology, for perfection, inside and out. The Whispering Walls collection. Paint that tidies your thoughts and colours the soul.
Mr. Fungi. What if a health drink could do more than nourish your body? What if it could be a much needed friend? Mr. Fungi. Mr. Fungi. Mr. Fungi is your irresistibly tasty companion. Mr. Fungi. The Light Show, sponsored by Mr. Fungi.
Welcome back. Oh, this Mr. Fungi drink is quite earthy.
Yeah, it really packs a punch. I remember the first time I had one of those mushroom coffees. I just, all of a sudden, I remember just sat in the room feeling all happy all of a sudden.
Really?
Yeah. And it took me a few minutes to recognise what was going on, and I thought it was the coffee. Wow. Yeah. But it didn't last long enough.
No, it really never does. No. But what happens when the effects of the coffee or drink wears off, or the effects of the sugar dies down, or the effects of your running wears off? What do you do then?
Now, we all know they're all wonderfully supportive and help us through some tough times, but they don't last as long as we'd like them to.
What's the long-term solution? Well,
our next guest knows how to meet life's difficulties with wisdom and grace. Since she began meditating at 8 years old and nearly 70 years on, she's exploring what it really means to be true to yourself while guiding others. Known for her calm and authentic voice in a noisy world, Sister Genty is here to talk to us about how inner strength can get us through life's storms. Please welcome Sister Genty. Very, very warm welcome to you, Sister Genty. So we've just been having a little conversation about the quick fixes and the coping mechanisms that we all use to get through life and keep us going. Whatever it might be, whether it's a physical thing or a relationship or a mindset, even. But we're interested in hearing about your perspectives on those things. Is that just the way you live life? Is that a part and parcel of being human, or is there something more consistent that we can find?
There's something that's called positive psychology. And what they did was to experiment with all these quick fixes and see whether it created positive feelings and emotions within people. And yes, have some chocolate, and that gives you a sense of well-being. But many other things also. I won't mention them all, but many of those things. But what happens with those is that it comes to a peak experience, and then after that, carry on eating more chocolate. What do you feel? Eat a little bit more, and you don't want to see chocolate again. And so that happens with external things. But they found one thing in which you can continue, and it's never hitting the peak. It's just increasing all the time, and that is meditation. And yes, Raj Yoga, meditation, just keep practicing for a minute, like you've been in these sessions, the jam minutes. Just a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and the inner feeling of peace and well-being and positive emotions begins to increase all the time, and actually then stays with you.
How beautiful. I mean, it's interesting. Often people are asked the question, how long do you meditate for? You know, and I think we value quite a lot on time. You know, like if you meditate for this amount of time, then this is the value you'll get from it. Is that true of meditation?
I want to know how many of you ever met Dadi Janki? It's a good number. Wow, it's about half. And for those who didn't, well, I hope you'll hear some of her tapes or her videos and read her books, and I think you'll get a very powerful experience. But when we'd say to Dadi, how long do you meditate? Her reply was, ask me how long I don't meditate. And that was true. We just saw her constantly in a higher state of awareness. And it was in that stage that, I mean, meditation's not just sitting down and closing your eyes, but it's a way of life. It's a way of being. And when you're in that awareness of your own highest self and the connection with the divine, then that's meditation. And you do whatever you need to do. You can be walking, you can be talking, but you can keep yourself in that higher awareness. So that is meditation.
Interesting. So it doesn't really matter how long you're doing it for. It can be happening for a minute or 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Yeah.
Well, the aim is to keep increasing it.
Okay.
Not just keep it at 1 minute, but keep increasing it so that that experience of well-being stays with you as long as possible.
And so would you say for those of us who may struggle with old habits, little addictions, meditation, how can we drop the habits and start? Would meditation help?
Definitely. It would help in a few ways. One would be that, you know, we get into these addictions because we are searching for something. There's an emptiness inside. And when I meditate, I find that sense of contentment and fulfillment that's within me. So whether it's an addiction to go shopping, many people have that, but whatever it may be, because I'm feeling that contentment inside, I don't turn to whatever the external thing may be, the substance or the kick. The other thing that happens is that with meditation, the awareness, the consciousness becomes very powerful. Because when I decide to buy another pair of shoes, for example, my mind is being pulled. And my logic is saying, I've got 12 shoes, a dozen shoes, I don't need any more. But the feelings, the emotions are so powerful that I still go ahead and get it. Well, with meditation, the conscience comes into awareness. It kicks alive, and it's then able to speak more powerfully, and it's able to turn the mind away from things that would not be useful into a more useful track. And I begin to talk to myself in a more reasonable way, in a more logical way. And so the habit begins to break. And so I won't go into more detail, but that's the start of the journey, that you're able to change your thoughts and feelings to a different direction.
So rather than looking for that external dopamine kick, there's like an inner. And what happens in meditation? Do we release serotonin? And yeah,
I think that probably happens, and probably Neville will tell you more about it than I can, because he's got a lot of medical health background. But yes, definitely. If I can come back to that awareness of inner peace, and not just peace, meditation's not just stillness and peace, it's laughter and joy, as you've been experiencing. But also you find the truth within, you find the joy within, you find the purity, you find the truth. And because of all those treasures that you're experiencing, you feel very full.
How does a meditation practice help us? What does that develop or create or unearth in us to be able to face the challenges we're facing emotionally, relationships? What is the link between a meditation practice and facing the challenges we face in life?
I actually think that it must be very difficult to survive, never mind thrive, in today's world if someone doesn't meditate. And so I feel that meditation is that which fills me with what I need, so that, for example, when I get into a connection with another person, normally I'm wanting something from them. And of course, they're also wanting something from me. And so here we are, both of us needy, both of us wanting, and it's not going to work. But with meditation, I feel that there's something I can give. I can maybe give a kind word, a smile, a moment of happiness, a shared laugh, something. And so instead of wanting to take, I'm able to give them something. So the quality of interaction and relationship changes. Another thing that happens is that if I've been meditating regularly, then when there's an accident that happens, I was in a car accident with a horse a little while ago.
Yeah, please tell us a little bit more about that.
It's a long story, but basically on this country road in France, and a horse comes running out from nowhere and crashes into the car. The whole windscreen gets smashed, the license plates gets dislodged. It was a big horse. You can imagine how strong it must have been. It hits the car, and I think it's going to fall, but it's running fast, fast, fast. And then the people behind us, we moved to the side, and the people behind us also come up and stop. And they then explain that it's probably from the stables that we are seeing in the distance, and off they go. And sometime later, the woman comes back and says that the horse has had a traumatic past because of being ill-treated by the owner. And at that moment, we didn't understand further, but then a little while later, this little girl comes running, and she's obviously fallen, and she's distraught, and she's saying, "Where's the horse? Where's the horse?" It's there. And so she goes running off there, and the woman explains that that was the girl who was riding the horse, and something must have come in its way and got scared, and because of the trauma it carried, the only person who he would allow to ride him was that little girl. And now something must have startled him, and so he jumped, and the girl got thrown off, and so she'd come running. And meanwhile, we'd call the police, we'd call the rescue people, we'd called the insurance people, and they came back with a fuller story, the police people, and they told us that, yes, this was a story, and the horse had a wound, it had hurt itself, and it was being taken to hospital, but the girl was okay, her mother was now back with her, so she was okay. And the amazing thing was we were all just absolutely calm, and everything got resolved in a very, very calm manner. Nobody was hurt, and a couple of hours later, we were late, but a couple of hours later we were back at our retreat place, and everything was okay. And so you don't know what's going to happen. And when it does happen, then if you've been practicing meditation, you have that inner capacity, that stability with which to be able to face the situation and resolve it in a very calm manner. And there were no hysterias, there were nothing. It was just very, very calm.
Is everything solvable with peace? Or do some things need anger or violence? Or
Yesterday I heard a very interesting statement. Again, it must have been from Neville. When evil fights evil, who wins? It's going to be more evil. And so, no, anger is never the answer. Violence is never the answer. You can only put out a fire with water. You can't do anything else. And so if I stay peaceful, then surely those vibrations are going to calm the other down, and it's going to lead to some sort of communication perhaps, and through the communication some understanding can develop. But anger coming against anger, and probably it's not just anger, it's also ego mixed in within the anger, and it's just going to be a big fire.
It would be nice to have one of those peaceful moments with you, Sister Genty.
Yeah.
Would you like to do that? Lead us into
So we'll have another little jam moment with you, if that's okay, just in silence. And actually, interestingly, when you first came onto the set and you were looking out into the audience, there was something that you were doing there in terms of the vision that you were having for others. Would you just say a little bit about that before you go into meditation?
I was seeing not just this beautiful gathering of people, but I was seeing the shining stars, because each and every one of you is that shining star, the soul. And so just connecting soul to soul, we were sharing a moment of peace together.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So let's have our jam moment. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here with us. And now you're off on a flight, I think, to travel. So we wish you a safe journey.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Thank you. And now to something that's practically a national pastime.
In the UK, us Brits love talking about the weather.
From taxi drivers to strangers in the queue, it's the go-to small talk topic.
You might recognise some phrases like,
"Oh, it's a bit nippy out," or "it's chucking it down."
and the nation's favourite, "I can't believe this weather."
One thing we're not good about talking is how we feel inside, about our inner weather.
We often hide behind the stiff upper lip, keeping our storms to ourselves.
But a simple conversation with a trusted person could be just the ray of sunshine we need to brighten up our day.
So what's the outlook today? Let's head over to our Summer Rose to give us today's inner weather report.
Hello, I'm Summer Rose with today's inner weather forecast, where we check in on our emotional climate and change our forecast. So how are you feeling? How are you really feeling? We may experience patchy irritation drifting in from the east, with about a 40% chance of overthinking. Up north, in the mind, expect scattered doubts. But don't worry, further south, in the heart, it can warm up nicely with some early sunshine. There may even be sudden gusts of impatience, possibly linked to bank holiday traffic. And watch out, as there's a slight risk of a full-on downpour if you skip dinner. But here's the best part, the long-term outlook. It's completely in your hands. You have the power to turn storm clouds into clear skies. Keep holding on to what brings you calm. Whatever the inner weather, add a little bit of sunshine to your mood, or pop on some emotional SPF to protect you from the chaos of life. If your inner weather's already great, then lean in and enjoy the goodness even more. So be weather ready. Check your inner thermometer, carry your sunshine with you, and watch your outlook change. That's all from me, Summer Rose.
So, how are you feeling, Sunny? Sunny?
Yeah, I'd say fair to middling.
So let's check in with our audience, our studio audience. How are you all feeling? Hands up if you're feeling sunny. So let's see some sun rays. How many sunny rays? Okay, okay, put your hands down. Just have a little wave if you're feeling cool. Cool or peaceful? Do that if you're feeling peaceful. Okay, and let's have a temperature scale. So stand up really tall if you're feeling very hot. Stand up. You can stand up. That's it.
No one's feeling hot.
You're not feeling hot?
It's pretty cool in here,
There's somebody over there feeling hot. And sit down if you're feeling really cool. Oh, you're all feeling very cool. Fantastic. Okay.
It's lovely. It's a nice thing to check in on, isn't it, inner weather?
Very good.
Yeah.
Always check in
Great
on
reminder.
with the inner weather. Now, on to the news. These days, it might feel that at times it's all bad news that fills our screens and fills our minds.
But here on The Light Show, we like to do the opposite. So now, brightening up the headlines, here's Serena Waters with the bright news.
Hello, and welcome to the bright news. The top stories today. Have we found the peacemakers of the future? From Zimbabwe to Sussex, how a simple seat is changing lives. And a cappuccino with a bit of rhythm. All to come on the bright news. Our first story begins where many great things do in a classroom. The Young Ambassadors for Peace initiative is helping children become calm, kind leaders. This year, 10 primary schools in the London Borough of Harrow each nominated 6 pupils to be real makers of peace.
Not to be distracted by things happening around you. Instead, focus on the stillness within yourself. Take a moment, truly experience the peace that resides deep within.
For a long time, over 30 years, I used to think of peace in terms of conflict. So conflict, and then let's make peace to sort out the conflict. But I think this whole experience of the Young Ambassador for Peace has made me rethink that peace isn't about an opposite of something else. It's an actual state of being, and it's much more about peacefulness.
Now, in its second year, the programme has so far reached over 4,000 pupils, rippling through families and communities. Peace showing up quietly, consistently, and from the heart. And now from Zimbabwe, here's something that might really restore your faith in humanity. The Friendship Bench Scheme, which involves a wooden park bench being placed in a public space with grandmothers offering a listening ear to anyone passing.
Psychiatrist Dr. Dixon Chibando started what they called therapy on the street.
I started off with 14 grandmothers who I trained in the basics of cognitive behavioral therapy. How do you use your eyes when you're engaging another person on the bench? How do you use silence? It's not about identifying a person's diagnosis. In essence, the actual therapy is really about getting people to talk. Now, in Zimbabwe alone, we have over 2,000 grandmothers.
It's working wonders. After 6 months, 80% of people who sat down to chat with the grandmother experienced significant improvement in their well-being.
And the good news is it's come to the UK. However, due to the British weather, the benches will not be placed outside, but in indoor areas such as churches and community spaces and libraries. And now to the world's happiest cafe, where a bit of joy gets you a free coffee. At Coffee Milano in Middleborough, Massachusetts, the price of a coffee is one little dance move at the counter. The owner believes that mornings should be filled with rhythm, connection, and a little salsa before your sip. The cafe buzzes with joy, with twirls at the till, claps in the queue, and espresso with extra groove. Isn't that wonderful? What fun. So, make mine a flat white with a touch of flamenco. And what's yours?
I'll have a latte with a bit of hip-hop.
Shows what you know about hip-hop. I think I'll tango for my tea.
And what a party we will have. There you have it. The bright news. Thank you for joining us. Back to you, Sunny and Dawn.
Thank you. It's so nice to know that wonderful things are happening around us.
Absolutely. I really love that idea of the friendship bench. I can feel like I could be a grandmother.
A grandfather.
Grandfather sitting on the benches and listening to people. That sounds like a great thing to do.
Oh, I want to dance for my coffee.
Well, I wish I could dance pay for everything.
That'd be great. Pay your mortgage.
Pay mortgage for dancing.
Fantastic. Now, after years of reporting the world's worst news, Neville Hodkinson has found something worth reporting: hope.
As a veteran journalist and former medical and science correspondent for the Sunday Times, Neville has always managed to see the world through a positive lens.
Perhaps his lifelong journey as a meditator and recent work exploring consciousness can shed light on how to stay hopeful.
Please welcome Neville Hodkinson. So hi Neville, welcome to The Light Show.
Hello, Sonny. Hello, Dawn. And do I get a free cappuccino for that little bit?
Well, maybe, I'm sure we could sort that out. Yeah, maybe Bobby could help us.
Actually, we have a little bit of mushroom coffee.
I don't think so.
You might not want to try that. Yeah. So thank you so much for being with us.
It's a pleasure.
We're really interested and excited to have you on the show because, that's one of the things that I feel people are really... certainly the conversations that I'm having, is finding it challenging, more and more challenging, to accept what is happening in our world, what's happening on the news, and still stay hopeful for a better future, particularly if you have a family or young children, or if you're young yourself, like what does the future look like? It's difficult to see past the next 5 or 10 years potentially, but so I'd be interesting to hear, your perspective on how you've been reporting on things over the last, I don't know how many years, 40 years probably. And seeing how things have changed over the years. How have you retained your hope, seeing the things that have happened?
Yeah, I would say the biggest change has been in myself. So I see things differently, and that actually has given me a lot of hope because I've changed so much in my own outlook and my own way of seeing horrible things. There are really horrible things going on in today's world, but I've got a broader context now in my mind, and somehow the recognition of the fact that I've been able to change internally also gives me hope that millions of others are doing the same, and that out of the horrors we will find a better way forward. But it all comes, for me, this actual personal change is the biggest source of hope. When I was first working as a reporter, I tried to do my best, and actually I remember my bosses at the Daily Mail, one of the papers I was working at back then, saying, why have we never heard about this sort of thing before? Because I gravitated towards doctors and health workers who had an interest in the whole person. I remember the editor once, a young actor had suddenly died of a heart attack, and the editor wanted a piece for the female pages, 20 ways to save your husband from a heart attack. Needed it in a couple of hours. So I got on to a couple of doctor friends, and one of them said, the first thing he said was, tell him that you love him. Wow. Now, at that time, might have been put him on statins or something, it was just so different and so nice to hear a doctor speaking about things to do with our feelings, because they're incredibly important in making us ill or keeping us well. So I did a lot of that sort of work. But I wasn't really that happy during that time because I never knew how to put a limit to the work that I was putting in. I would work such long hours and I'd feel guilty even when I took time off, and I was just getting more and more exhausted. And I think I had a kind of breakdown, really. I left the business for a couple of years to write a book. It was back in the 80s, and the book was okay. It did a few editions and went into a few languages. It was called Will to be Well, The Real Alternative Medicine. And that taught me a lot. It was during that time of writing that I learned that there were people who were experts in monitoring their thoughts and feelings so as to try to ensure that they were positive. And for a long time, because I had a very materialistic outlook, despite this appreciation of the holistic approaches of some health workers, but still I was a science worshipper, if you like. I'd bought into that whole story that the physical world is the real thing, and religion is something that might comfort you, but, it was sort of secondary to the truth. And that was a very, very limited outlook that was depriving me of connection to the real, what I now see as the real source of our humanity, which is internal. It's not something physical. And although ultimately the goal of a good human being is to be spirit and matter working beautifully together, it's not that you're going to reject matter, but that discovery and the meeting people who were practicing really monitoring their thoughts and feelings so as to try to minimize the pain and turn that into power, as Lacky C was putting it, but taking the pain, not hiding it, but recognizing that the pain was a signal to you that could help you gain power. this was a huge step forward for me.
So what did you when you're in that place of pain, you're suffering in the moment, do you consciously draw upon some power, or do you consciously do something in that moment, or is it just a result of, does that come as a result of a consistent practice?
Yes, for me now, when challenges come, I've got a kind of reserve of strength with which I can face these and contextualize them. I can understand more where they're coming from. When I feel hurt, it's almost always some kind of wrong identity on my part. I'm thinking of myself as a wonderful father, for example, and my son gives me some indication that there could be something missing, And so instead of feeling hurt, to actually realise that, okay, let me step up my journey as a father, whatever it might be. But to begin with, I found that just like you've been hearing in this show, just coming into the company of people who were practiced meditators, they radiated so much peace, like Sister Genty. I'm sure everyone could feel that after those years of practice and her dedication to this task. And Daddy Janki, who's been mentioned, she was a master at this. She spent a lifetime just really what it comes down to is she would not allow thoughts of pain or sorrow to persist inside her mind. She monitored herself all the time, every day. And it wasn't that things wouldn't crop up. We saw her get cross about things. We saw all sorts of character aspects that were there, but she was working on them, taking herself more and more towards this place of real power. And I remember bringing my mother to see Daddy Janki once, and my mother told me that sitting in front of her, she felt as if some invisible strings were pulling her own face, my mother's face, up into a smile. She couldn't help it, It's like a positive vibration that is a very strong gift in itself. So to begin with, before I really understood about the spiritual dimension, I just would come into the company of these great souls, and that in itself, I would be like drinking at that well, and that got me on the route towards being a better person, really, losing those negativities.
Yeah. How interesting. Yeah. I mean, do you think it's worth keeping hope alive in myself, or is it better just to focus on a kind of inward journey? Because sometimes holding on to something like hope can feel like something that's out here somewhere, and something might happen, but it's kind of painful sometimes.
Yes,
the hope.
I understand your question. Yeah. Yes, it's definitely the real lasting solution. I mean, because hope can be a bit like your fungi drink or whatever.
Yeah.
It can give you a temporary lift, see you through a difficult patch, but in time it may let you down if it's misplaced.
Absolutely.
But what you can be absolutely sure of is the hope that the reality inside you will in time be revealed, the truth. And I'm totally convinced about this, that every single human being has this beautiful spark of love and peace and joy within them. Totally, it's not a matter of faith, it's a matter of certainty, And so it's the rekindling of that is really what the world needs, and I see that beginning to happen. And so that's why I also have hope about the longer term future for humanity too. I always remember, because I think in many ways science has achieved so much for us, iPhones and hip operations and anesthetics, but it's also, when it divorces from the spiritual dimension, it can become very dangerous. Not just producing, weapons of mass destruction, but actually endangering us because we're so seduced by it that we lose contact with our humanity. And this is very dangerous. So profit takes over. Medicine's very distorted often by the profit motive, the massive profits that can be made. And I remember at the end of a wonderful movie, some of you may remember the Terminator trilogy. I saw the Terminator 2, and there's a marvellous scene at the end of it where Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's this robot who's been sent from the future to change the past in some way, and he's a robot. But he says at the end of the episode, if a robot can develop compassion, maybe there's still hope for humanity.
Wow, amazing.
How interesting. Yeah.
So we always look outside and we want our government to make a change, don't we? And then when the government makes a change, and then we'll have this, and then life will be better. But is it that we literally just have to all commit in our thousands, in our millions, to that inner change? I remember 20 years ago, I actually did meet Boris Johnson because he was the MP for Henley. And I had a meal with him, and I sat and I said, I really think you should bring meditation into the Houses of Parliament. And he went, oh yeah. I said, it will make such a difference in the way that you communicate with each other. But it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But if we all made such a change, we could have change.
Definitely. I mean, the two things there. One is that it really doesn't help to be complaining and becoming miserable about the bad things that are going on. It doesn't help. You know, we've got a habit of doing that. I don't know quite why that habit is there. Certainly it was very strong in me at one time to be just looking outside and thinking, oh, this is so bad, that's so bad. But not only is that useless in that it kind of disempowers you from doing anything about it, but it also weakens you. It becomes a habit internally that makes you miserable, and you're not going to be able to help anyone, actually, the more you do that. So it's so important to overcome that habit. I think one reason for it, in my own case, looking back, is that I think I was afraid of letting go of certain habits of looking out at the world critically, because those habits were a way of avoiding awareness of what I'd lost spiritually and that I needed to regain. And, you know, any change is always, somehow there's something about us that is uncomfortable about substantial change. And so to realize how great we are implies that we have to let go of what is not so great. And that's why those old habits of putting ourselves down or self-doubt persist. So it is a journey to continue to practice those sort of positive thoughts and feelings that Sister Genty was speaking of. And for me, that I've been helped in that, because to begin with, I didn't really believe it. I kind of felt the beauty of it, but I had this materialistic outlook. But I've been helped a lot by the developments in frontier science, where they're now saying that you don't even get a particle without information. The quantum realm is to do with this. It's to do with the interface between spirit and matter, which the scientists are getting closer to understanding. They haven't quite crossed the barrier towards spirit, but they certainly understand that the material world is run by a kind of informational matrix. But where does that information come from? It comes from spirit. And that's not far away now. It's going to be a revolution in science. It's really going to help people to understand that narrow materialistic science is a toxic belief system, but science itself may be finding a way out of that.
I've heard this phrase before, is when we change, that the world changes. And maybe that's, you know, what you're trying to sum up, I guess, in what you're saying, summing up in one phrase, because, you know, the fact that you started to see a difference in what you were reporting on and how you were seeing the world from your personal change is a massive impact. So if maybe, what advice would you give to someone who is feeling a bit hopeless about what's happening in their life, or let alone the world? You know, what would you say to someone like that?
Well, Lacky's turn pain into power is a great slogan. I think the thing is, what that implies, turn pain into power, it implies that there's something unique about every one of us. And every one of us has this unique journey that is a unique contribution to the way the play we're in unfolds. Because we are all in a kind of giant play. We're all actors on a stage, as Shakespeare wrote. And understanding that your part is valuable, and that the the sorrow and pain that you may have experienced has a place in your journey. You just have to recognize that it's a signal to reconnect with the divine, and the divine will take you back to your original condition of strength and power and joy and peace and light.
So these moments, these jam moments, these little snippets, daily snippets, or as often as we can, is going to make such a big difference.
It makes a huge difference. But for me, I think that, and this is why I kind of particularly love the teachings of the Spiritual University in Raja Yoga, because it's kind of paradigm shifting. You can take these moments, once you've understood what the journey entails, to move from identifying with your roles, your body, and all of these material things, to identifying with the soul, the inner being. Once you've understood that, then the minutes are all valuable. They take you in that direction. But you need a sort of basic shift in understanding as well. That's why I would strongly recommend people kind of go into this in some depth.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because often we just go through the practice and we don't necessarily think about what we do in the practice, what to take into the practice. It's a bit like going into a lab without any theory to practice.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Neville, we want to talk to you for another 25 minutes, but sadly we can't.
But we would love you to join us in a jam moment.
Oh, lovely. Thank you.
Let's do that.
Take a moment to close your eyes and become aware of any burdens you might be carrying in your mind or your heart. A worry, a to-do list, a conversation, a situation. One by one, imagine gently placing them down beside you. You can pick them up later if you need to, but for now, just let them rest. Feel the lightness that enters your being as you set them down. What remains when the burdens are gone? A simple, uncomplicated presence. A quiet space. In this space, there is a natural ease, a gentle joy.
Thank you, Neville.
Thank you.
And before you go, just wanted to say and let our viewers know, and our studio audience, that you will be signing some of your books, I believe, today.
Oh yeah, there's a bookshop over
just over at the
here,
front
yeah.
lawn. So if anyone would be interested to meet Neville, say hello to him. But also, I think you've got several books, but one of the ones that we wanted to mention was called "I Know How to Live, I Know How to Die," which I think is a fantastic topic for a book. So it'd be interesting to hear more about that. But if anyone would like to meet Neville, then you can see him a bit later on. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's about the teachings of Daddy Janki, who was my mentor in London for many years.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Neville.
Thanks, Dawn.
Thank you.
So. Coming up, we'll be meeting Sister Morin doing something we believe has never happened on live TV.
We're looking forward to that.
Don't go away.
Introducing the Chill Pillow.
What? What do you mean that they're not here? We go live in 15.
What's happening, Joy?
What's happening?
The bereavement expert hasn't turned up.
Oh.
Probably stuck in downward dog on the M25.
Well, let's just cut the item.
We can't just cut it.
I mean, we could. It's just one item.
You could do it. You did a
Chill
dance
pillow.
class in the summer.
The coolest
Why
thing
did you do
in
it?
your bed.
No, please. No. Okay. I'll do it. You owe me.
Right, welcome back. Now, if your life is a little chaotic, you're not alone.
We have with us our lifestyle whiz, Joy Fullaby, to show us some simple and practical ways to bring more stillness into our everyday. So what have you got for us, Joy?
Right, today I have emotional finger therapy.
Oh, how interesting.
Interesting.
And basically you're massaging the pressure points in your fingers and it really helps you to release emotion.
Wow.
And anyone can try that.
Okay.
So you do it for 1 to 2 minutes, breathing very slowly. So let's start with the thumb.
We can all do it together?
Yeah.
That's for worry, so you can just give it a really good massage.
Okay. Oh, and it's interesting. So this one is for worry. And babies and little children, they suck their thumb.
That's right.
So that must...
If they're feeling worried, then
Yeah,
they just...
because they're feeling
Well, how
worried.
interesting, yeah.
I don't know how would they know instinctively that pressure
worry.
point is for worry.
And that's a good way to remember, isn't it?
Yeah.
Human beings are incredible.
The index finger is for fear.
Right.
So give that a really good massage, as tight as you can, all those pressure
Do
points.
you do the front of it or the back of it?
Doesn't matter, either the front or the back.
A good way to remember it if you are someone's pointing a finger. So that's quite thin,
Yeah.
isn't it?
And your middle finger is for anger, so give that a good
yeah,
rub.
we could all use that one.
That was easy to remember.
That was very easy to remember. And your ring finger is for sadness, so give that one a really good massage.
Okay.
Great.
And your little finger is for when you're feeling insecure.
Ah, low self-esteem.
It's like when
Yeah.
people do this when they're feeling insecure. don't they?
Exactly.
Just hold their finger.
And it is the little finger.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, doesn't matter which hand it is.
Okay. Could you do, I guess you could do it on your feet maybe as well. Someone
Could
giving you
try.
a foot massage.
Yes, or get someone else to do it.
Yeah, so remember the thumb is for worry,
Worry,
the index finger is for fear,
fear,
the middle finger is for anger,
anger.
the ring finger is for sadness, and your little finger is for when you're feeling insecure.
How great. Just,
And it helps to release emotions
okay.
and also to rebalance yourself.
Oh,
So
wow,
it's
yeah.
really, really
So if
practical.
after a meeting or if you're in a meeting and you're feeling a bit frustrated under the desk, you could just be
Right,
rubbing
or behind your back.
or behind your back.
So it's really in the moment. And it's kind of a distraction, really, because you're focusing on something different.
Yeah.
So you should try it.
yeah, definitely. What have we got next?
Next, we've got something very special. It's very important how you start your day. And so our floor manager, Bobby, has kindly volunteered to show us her morning miracle routine.
Okay.
Here she is.
Fantastic, Bobby.
Right.
Over to you, Bobby.
Over to you.
Yeah.
Right. So, look, I'm not really a movement person. So I'd really appreciate it if all of the studio audience could stand up and we can do it together. Because I've been put on the spot. So if we could stand up and we'll start with some deep breaths. Okay, is that all right? Okay, here we go. Arms in the air. Well, 1, and 2, and out, and one more, and a 3. Give it a little shake out. Shake it. That's it. Shake it. We'll shake to the right and we'll shake it to the left. And we'll give it all around and 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 a bit to the right and a bit to the right and a bit to the right and back again to the left. Back again to the left. Yay! 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 Hey, 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 yeah, 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 and we wiggle and wiggle and wriggle around, wiggle around, wiggle around, wiggle around, and we do, give it hips and a boof, boof, boof to the right, and a boof, boof, boof to the left, and another one to the right. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, left and left. Yeah, you're doing great. Doing great. Really inspiring. And up to the right and yay. Up to the left and yay. I think we've done That's it. That's it. That's our morning miracle routine.
Thanks, Bobby. That was interesting.
Give a round of applause. Yeah.
Well, that one definitely is going on YouTube. So, moving on swiftly, Joy, you have some books chosen out, some nice
these are
reads.
really great lifestyle reads, not preachy, but really practical.
Great.
Let's start with something for the children. This is called Relax Kids, a Monster Handbook. And this is really great for children where they can really learn to talk about their feelings and emotions. Lots of lovely illustrations in there.
Wow.
Colourful.
And
Well, you don't often get things for children, do you? And it's really interesting to see it so... I mean, I'd like to read that.
Well, I think it's also for
You
adults.
could just do like a page a day, couldn't you?
You could.
Yeah, yeah.
Such a
great.
child.
Wonderful. And that's by...
That's by Manetta Vegas.
Manetta Vegas. Great.
Our next book is for adults. Don't Get Mad, Get Wise. And it's a really good book because I didn't really understand what anger really was, actually, to be honest. And when I realised that anger's actually helping me to change.
Yeah,
It's giving me some information that I didn't understand before.
Yeah.
So I found that really useful, and that's by Mike George.
Funny that it's called Don't Get Mad, Get Wise and not Don't Get Mad, Get Cool. Or
Right,
something like that,
right.
you know. Yeah, interesting.
And our next one is Practical Meditation by Sister Genty.
Oh, great, yeah.
We've just had her on the show.
Yes, amazing.
And this is a really practical guide for meditation, open-eyed, step-by-step, and it really is
And it's
easy.
small, not too many words.
Yeah,
easy.
That's right.
And has it got, I think it's got some meditations in there, has it?
Yeah, so you can, exactly.
Yeah.
So here you can read those meditations to yourself. So they're
lovely.
really, really practical. Lovely
Cool.
read.
Don't often get books like that on
No,
meditation.
no, and,
yeah.
it's short, easy to read.
Yeah, yeah, little bedside table.
And our last one is Stillness in the Storm. And that's 7 tools for coping with fear and uncertainty. And that's written by 2 psychiatrists, Dr. Jan Alco and Dr. Sarah Eager.
Great. Well, that kind of goes into the topic of what we were talking about with Neville in
Yeah.
a way, the
Exactly.
uncertainty of things, how to feel hopeful.
That's right.
Yeah, great.
But it's really important, isn't it, to not just have them on the shelf and not read them, but just take it in. Otherwise, instead of self-development, oh, I ruined my own joke. Instead of self-development, it's shelf development.
Exactly.
You got through it. Well done.
Exactly.
That's so true. I've got so many books on my shelf, and well-intended books, or things that people have given me, and I haven't read them, and I'd like to. So, I mean, or you might read them and you might forget everything that you've read. You know,
Exactly.
and maybe they come back for quotes, but
Yeah.
other than that,
And I had a friend who read so many books on personal development and meditation. Many. He could even quote from different books.
Yeah.
And I said, well, how's your meditation going? He said, well, it's not. And then he realised he had to just take one thing and just practice that.
Yeah, it's so
And he
true.
made a difference.
yeah.
Does make a difference. Well, the most important part of this little section, my favourite, is the food. So, Joy, tell us what you're going to cook for us today.
Today we have a really good treat for both of you. We're going to make date and cashew slice. Really simple. Just 4 ingredients. So we have some dates, a little bit of melted butter, some cashew nuts, and some desiccated coconut. So the first thing
Is
is...
that it, really?
That's it. And it's very healthy, no sugar.
Wow.
And so I've just softened the dates with butter. I've warmed them up. I'm going to pop that in the bowl.
Can you use any dates?
Any dates.
Medjool dates?
They're the best.
I
You
love
probably don't have
medjool
to heat
dates.
those, actually,
No,
because
that's
they're
true,
quite
yeah.
soft.
Okay.
And then you add half a cup of cashew nuts, and you just give that a lovely mix with your fingers.
Could you add I don't know, vanilla essence, or could you add flavours to it?
You
or
could.
Have you ever tried that?
I haven't tried that. I quite like the natural flavour,
Okay,
actually.
yeah, nice.
But you could add other nuts.
You
any
could-
nuts,
you could.
Any nuts,
pistachio.
true.
Yeah.
So you could almost make
You can also add Rice Krispies. That's a nice
Oh,
one.
yeah, that's
that.
good.
Yes,
That's
or
a good
goji
one.
berries.
Yep, lovely.
Or go out into the blackberries. Could you add blackberries? Might get a bit slimy.
I don't think so. It's a bit wet. I think...
Just to show how much I know about cooking.
You really are not a cook. Stick with Joy's recipe, I think.
Great. And literally that's it.
That's it. And as you're mixing it, you can really just think about really nice thoughts, peaceful thoughts that Sister Genty was sharing earlier.
Yeah, and I guess
it's like a meditation.
Something that I quite like doing occasionally is playing a nice piece of music or something that makes me feel inspired when I'm cooking. I don't cook a lot, but when I do that, it's just nice to listen to something nice, just to put you in a good mood. I remember someone once told me, never cook when you're angry.
That's right.
It does go in the food.
It does.
And never eat when you're angry.
Yeah.
Apparently, your body releases toxins.
Is it
When
really?
we're angry,
How interesting.
yeah, and so that affects.
Okay.
So it's not a good idea.
So cook with peace. Cook
Eat with peace.
Yeah.
And cook with love.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Well, that's true, yeah.
That's
That's true.
fantastic.
I mean, home cooking is always cooked with love. It just does not taste the same as restaurant food.
But anyway, we're going to stay here and just drool while Joy can
So I've
finish
just
this.
made it into a roll.
Yep.
And leave that to cool for a little while.
You can put it in the fridge or just out?
Once it's cooled, you can keep it in the fridge.
Okay, cool.
Makes it easier to cut
Okay,
into
great,
slices.
And I'm just going to put it in the coconut.
A little bit later on.
And while you're
Yeah.
doing that, we're going to now, the moment we've been waiting for, is hear from the brilliant Lacky C with his latest single, Statement of Peace.
Yo, Oxford, what's going on? Can we find peace in a peaceless world? See the hidden benefit merged. This is my journey, my statement of peace. Bullied at 13, I didn't know why. Couldn't tell no one, no shoulder to cry. Confidence broken, believing the lies. Brushed it all under the carpet just to survive. Struggling to face it, I would blame myself. Thinking it's my fault, I would hate myself. Not realizing I could even save myself. I'd isolate and hibernate just to escape myself. When the situation finished, I was reliving scenes. Memories repeating between like a tape machine. Trauma resurfaces when you least expect it. Please detect it and it can be dealt with. And the way I feel, no one can stop me now. No longer a prisoner and peace is all around. These chains we're tied to, we have to be freed. When you're with the Father, victory is guaranteed. Peace in my vision, peace to every soul, peace to all civilians, peace in every home. This is my superpower, deep within me it's found. And when it's experienced, the world will cool down. Peace is my religion, peace is my faith. Peace in every thought and every breath that I take. This is the real me, this is who I am. As I create a new world, a peaceful land. A few years ago, July 2023, had one of the greatest challenges that was ahead of me. I was losing weight quickly, losing faith swiftly. Did tests and x-rays to see what was wrong with me. They thought it was pneumonia, it could be TB. I said I'm not gonna worry about this, best believe me. Then after the results alerted me, it could be more sinister. When spread all over your body, this can actually finish you. The winds of change can impact the course of my life, but you know it's drama flow with the water and tide. A source of light with a force so bright. I endured the fight with your support as my guide. And the way I feel, no one can stop me now. No longer a prisoner and peace is all around. These chains we're tied to, we have to be freed. When you're with the Father, victory's guaranteed. Peace in my vision, peace to every soul, peace to all civilians, peace in every home. This is my superpower, deep within me it's found. And when it's experienced, the world will cool down. Peace is my religion, peace is my faith. Peace in every thought, in every breath that I take. This is the real me, this is who I am. As I create a new world, a peaceful land. Just look at what's going on around us. Viciousness has grown. Souls are crying out. Peace is needed now more than ever. It's 2025, AI is on the rise. Technology is evolving, speeding the pace of our lives. Humanity's degrading, it's no hidden surprise. We need upliftment as we're empty inside. So much war going on is the call of the time. Fighting with each other, when will we draw the line? In this race of victory, we're falling behind because we've forgotten about the war going on in our minds. When we conquer the 5 vices and are free of these, then we could be liberated, achieve real peace. But the world's unwell, falling in the well of grief. I wish it well, sending love and peace that it needs. And the way we feel, no one can stop us now. No longer prisoners, cause peace is all around. These chains we're tied to, we have to be freed. When we're with the Father, victory is guaranteed. Peace is my vision, peace to every soul, peace to all civilians, peace to every... This is my superpower, deep within me it's found. And when it's experienced, the world will cool down. Peace is my religion, peace is my faith. Peace in every thought, in every breath that I take. This is the real me, this is who I am. As I create a new world, a peaceful land. Peace in my vision, peace to every soul, peace to all civilians, peace in every home. This is my superpower, deep within me is found.
And when it's experienced, the world will cool down. Peace is my religion, peace is my faith. Peace in every thought, in every breath that I take. This is the real me, this is who I am. As I create a new world, a peaceful land. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Fantastic. Lacky, thank you so much. Come over and join us. Come over and join us.
Thank you.
Let's slip in there, and that was really wonderful. I love that. It's so inspiring, and just how you can tell your story in one little song.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And when did you say the album is out, or the single?
The single hopefully out in October time.
Okay.
So make sure you guys get it and check it on YouTube as well.
YouTube. Lacky on YouTube, right?
Lacky C, yeah.
Brilliant.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
So I've rolled it in coconut.
Great. Lovely.
And it's time to
taste.
Thank you. I guess you could dip it in chocolate?
Yeah, you could. That's even more delicious.
White chocolate, dark chocolate, whatever.
Dark chocolate, sesame seeds.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good.
Really
Lovely,
nice.
isn't it?
Nice with a cup of tea.
You have to just imagine it, but it's delicious.
Well, thank you so much. So the recipe for this and more information about today's programme can be found on the website globalretreatcentre.org/The Light Show.
I'll be on that later.
Now,
you can head to our site and you'll find a whole list of sweet treats. And so please visit it and experiment.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Joy. Thank you so much, Lacky.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry.
Now, from sweet things in the mouth to sweet things in the mind, our next guest discovered meditation with her husband in her 20s.
And now, nearly 50 years on, she's well versed in staying calm and clear in a crisis. Please welcome Sister Morin.
Hello, Sister Morin.
Hello, Sadie. Hello, Dawn. Hi.
A very warm welcome to the Light Show.
Thank you.
It's your first time on the show.
Yes.
Don't
be nervous, it'll be fine.
I'm sure.
Pleasure to have you. So, Sister Morin, you've been hearing about what we've been talking about today, and peace has been our theme, really, for today's episode. And I know the work that you do, you've been dedicated basically your whole life to establishing peace, to making a peaceful world through your own practice of peace and meditation. And recently you were in the Seychelles, I believe, invited for an invitation from an interfaith organisation. Will you tell us a bit more about that experience that you had there? Because obviously, a really beautiful place, paradise. So what's going wrong? Is there anything going wrong?
Well, it was quite an experience, definitely, and it was a real demonstration to me that peace is not about your surroundings, but it's about what's going on inside, because it really is a paradise island. I mean, it's beautiful. And in one of the sessions, the person said, when you look out of the window and you in the morning and you see the sea, how do you feel? You're connecting with nature. And I said, well, when I look out in the morning, living in London, I see concrete, and but really it's beautiful. But there are a lot of problems in the society in terms of the education system, the political system, so many things. And in fact, it's a population of 100,000. Wow. It's a small country, although there's dozens of islands, actually. And they've been through they had 34 years of a lot of political upheaval and a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. And so people really are carrying a lot of trauma. And so the idea was there's elections coming up towards the end of September. And so they wanted to have programs to create an atmosphere of peace. And because it was the Interfaith Organisation, National Organisation's invitation, they wanted to focus on inner peace because they could see that was very important. I just wanted to add, though, that I didn't get to all the islands, only one. But in one of them, you have the giant turtles.
Okay, yeah.
And they are very peaceful animals.
Really, yeah.
And they can live up to 200 years.
Wow, gosh.
And they can weigh up to 400 kilograms.
Wow.
And so I thought, well, you know, that's a good recipe for peace. Peace brings long life. And but no, it was very interesting because I was actually meeting different sectors of society. Excuse me. I was meeting people who trained in peacemaking. I met presidential candidates and parliamentary candidates. I met groups of environmentalists, young people. That was very engaging. But what was interesting, and especially the session with the parliamentary and presidential candidates, there was always a co-host with me, and you know, when you create a safe atmosphere, people really began to share from their heart. And I think that they don't really get that opportunity. It's more, you know, posturing and positioning and so on. And one of the candidates stood up and spoke about the need for love.
Wow.
And, you know, it was quite moving. And some saying, well, we still need to settle the past. Others saying, no, now we've got to move forward and leave the past behind. But you could see the yearning for peace in people. It was quite moving, actually. So I'm watching the election news to see what happens.
Yeah. The interesting point that you just made there about whether you settle the past or just leave that in the past and move forward. What would you say? Because that's quite an interesting topic.
Well, it's not that easy to say, okay, now I'm going to leave the past and that's it.
Yeah.
And, you know, we do live in a traumatized world. It really is. And we don't realise how much behaviour is trauma-informed. And, I mean, I'm not an expert in this, but I've just come to understand more and more, both for myself and for the others that I interact with and what I see, that trauma is that people are carrying trauma and it's playing a huge part in the dynamics that we see in the world today. So you can't just say, oh, full stop, and that's it. And you don't want to suppress things either. But there has to be a way, I mean, as we've been hearing in the interviews, that if you begin to find your inner peace, this is something that's at your core. And so it has a transformative impact. And it can actually transform the impact of trauma. But of course, there are you know, when there really is trauma that's carried inside, often people do need professional help. So meditation isn't a replacement for that. But I do know that finding your core and your inner peace is a really huge help to, you know, transforming, as was said, the way in which you see the world, the way in which you interact with others, and your sense of hope, actually, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm interested to know a little bit about your own personal experience of dealing with I know you deal with a lot of people, a lot of admin work, paperwork,
the emails.
So I'm sure people resonate with that very much. Just even with an average life, you know, people are dealing with so much stuff these days. There's a lot of stuff to have to go through. But what really inspires you about your meditation practice, and how do you sustain that, keep that going? Because it can be, you know, when other people are not doing what you're doing, especially if it's
or what you want them to do.
What you want them to do. But in terms of your meditation practice, it can feel a little bit lonely, I think, sometimes, because not everyone does that to the depth that maybe you might, you know, someone like yourself. So I wonder how do you keep yourself going with that practice, you know? What inspires you?
What inspires me? Well, I mean, I've seen the change in myself. I've not seen it, I've felt it. You know, you see in others, but you feel it in yourself. And, you know, I came to this spiritual path in my 20s. I'd been searching, and I knew there was something more to life. And I also knew inside there's something I have to do in life. I didn't know what, but there's something I have to do. And but I didn't have that confidence in myself. And something that's been mentioned was about self-talk. And, if I look back at the beginning, my self-talk to myself was very draining or weakening or critical, and really wasn't helping me. But through the meditation practice, that's the bit I really learned to turn around. And that gave me a greater sense of my own value. And each of us have innate value as human beings, and innate dignity and innate goodness, as has been said. And so that gave me a sense of my own innate value, and in a sense really gave me back my self-dignity. And then, of course, experiencing that connection with God, with the divine, it's like whatever effort you do in your spiritual journey, it's like the divine God multiplies the impact of that for you through that connection. And that's been a very powerful experience. And so the fact that I've seen that moving and growing in me has kept me going, because I've seen it's not a dead end. It's moving, it's working. But also, I think something that's grown in me, well, I think it was there naturally in a way, but I didn't know how to use it maybe for benefit. The sense of compassion for others and empathy. I used to want to fix everything, and everybody's problems, and well, you can't. I mean, it just drains you. So I had to learn. But then what I learned was, as Lacky said, very much more to listen, for sure, and not to allow the suffering of the person to enter me, so that I could be empathetic, compassionate, but keep my own inner peace to be able to give something to them. Because you can't give what you don't have. And so that's enabled me to use that compassionate side of my nature to really help and benefit others, and that's been very important to me.
So how do you not take other people's stuff on? Because that's not an easy thing.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a saying in our spiritual university: don't give sorrow, but don't take sorrow. Now, the giving sorrow is, in a way, the easier part. No, don't get angry. Don't say that thing on the tip of your tongue that, you want to say. But even if you don't say it, if you think it, the vibrations reach people. I mean, everybody would know that. But if I'm staying in my own inner peace, that becomes very strong inside. And so nothing else can penetrate it. Okay. So it stays strong. I mean, I'm not perfect, so there are chinks in the armour at times, of course, But I remember one situation where I was on a journey with someone who had cancer, and we were good friends, and I was, helping her throughout. And she did, pass away eventually. She was quite young, just had her 40th birthday. And at one point I asked God, what's the best thing I can do for her? And the answer I got was, be happy. And of course, not happy that she's sick, but I realised that's the atmosphere she needs around her. Not, oh, you poor thing, da-da-da. That's the atmosphere that was needed, because I watched her. That's when I learned that healing isn't only about healing the body, because I watched her heal all her relationships. And then when she did pass, I was present, had a big impact on me actually, and it was so gentle, and so she was a meditator, a yogi, but it was a very, very sacred moment.
How interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder, it's an interesting topic when people bring up the idea of God or divine or supreme something connected to meditation, because you don't often hear about those two things. Can you share a little bit more about why? What has meditation got to do with God?
Well, what is meditation? It's about the use of your thoughts. As I understand it in Raj Yoga, meditation isn't about stopping your thoughts, because your thoughts are your energy, and as we had the meditation earlier, they're your frequency, as well, according to the type of thoughts, and use thoughts in the right way. You can't suppress thoughts, actually, because it's the task of the mind to think. So if I use my thoughts in a way that can connect me first with my inner self and then with God, then not only am I getting the benefit of knowing myself and the strength that brings, but I'm getting the benefit of tuning into a source of energy that is unlimited, an unlimited source of peace, of love, of strength, of purity. I think Sister Genty mentioned this, but it's really tuning into something that's greater than ourselves. And, in today's world, people have forgotten that dimension, and meditation stays, or even meditation often tends to stay kind of secular in a way, and they've forgotten that spiritual dimension of where we can connect. And this is actually the energy that's needed in the world today, because, it's not that God can suddenly transform everything. I actually had the experience of going to Ukraine just shortly after the war started, and I went with a group of religious leaders, and we just went to be with the people. And of course, it's gone protracted so long. It's just, well, what can one say? But when I came back, I was being interviewed, and somebody asked me, well, where is God in all this? Why did God allow this war? And I said, yeah, it's a good question, but where is humanity in all this? What have we done to bring ourselves to this point? And the interviewer said, yes, I understand. So it's not that God can we have to transform and understand what it is that God wants of us. And we have to become divine in our own being. And then, naturally, for sure, this will be the state of the world. So this is the transformation that we all need to do.
Sorry. Well, I was going in Lacky's song, he was singing the war in my head.
Yeah.
So it's like the war in our head, the war with our neighbours, the war with our family, brothers, sisters, relationships. That's what we need to, first of all, the self, and then it ripples out.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the root cause of violence is a lack of love and awareness of the self.
Interesting. So would you say that then the role of God, whatever that might be for people, or is not to necessarily, it's not a belief something, but it's to recognize that there's this kind of energy, power, that I can draw upon for us to change things on this plane, on this level in my life individually.
Absolutely.
So it's not that I rely on that energy to do something for me, but I'm actually almost like, it's like being in the company of someone in a way, and how they influence you. Would you say it's like that? Or?
It's like that, but it's more than that too, because it really is a connection that can, although God is, a source and above, but it can actually feel very personal. And something I like also a lot about the relationship is that if you yourself are doing your best to act from your inner goodness, then God actually then protects you. There was a beautiful saying that was coming up in our classes in London recently, and it's about this word dharma. Dharma means like righteousness or the right way of life, a spiritual way of life. And it was that, and it comes in the scriptures apparently, but if you protect Dharma, Dharma will protect you. So if you protect your inner goodness and you act from that and protect that way of life, then that will draw God's protection to you.
Wow.
And God's strength to you.
So I guess you could do that with peace, protecting your inner peace, not compromising on it. Yeah.
And the conscience has been mentioned. I mean, that it's like you look at in the world and you think, where is conscience? And so I need to awaken my own conscience, because so often we can get compromised in little things because it's more convenient, you know. But we all have that inner feeling, you know, and I was, you know, you have to listen to your deep inner feeling and not ignore it, because if you ignore it, you'll do something and you'll say, I wish I hadn't done it.
Yeah.
I wish I hadn't said that. Your inner feeling told you, but you didn't listen. So
I guess that's the price to pay when you find genuine inner peace, that you have to start going, oh gosh, I have to use this now.
Exactly, and you can't go back.
You can't go
you
back.
know, you can't go back. You may want to run away, but
it
where
was
can you
easier
run
before.
to?
Yeah. Sometimes it's easier just to leave things as they are and not change it, even if it might be
painful.
Exactly.
You know, it's like that's the comfort
It's
zone.
like
Is the
once
pain.
you've woken up, you can't go back to sleep.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
how interesting. So then, you know, if I'm changing things or I'm finding more of my inner peace and that connection maybe with the divine or with God, then how does that impact? Because we have to do something in social, you know. So what have you seen? Because you've done a lot. I know you've done a lot of it in the world, and like you've been to the Seychelles. I know you've done lots of travelling.
Lots of like going to the Seychelles. I mean,
going to the Seychelles.
I always have to say I did not go for a holiday. Okay.
But you know, what do we do if you? Because the question that we were asking Neville earlier. You know, it's like, what's the fine balance between working on what's happening inside? Can we just sit in our rooms at home and just be peaceful, or is that enough, or do we have to do something to apply it into the world? You know, what can we do just as a normal average person?
We definitely have to bring it into action. Yes, we need to have those times when I feel myself, and the early morning is a very good time to do that. And then the jam moments, once a minute gives power to the other 59 minutes of the hour, but keep replenishing myself. And Sister Genty mentioned it becomes like a way of life. So it actually is that which is the motivation and behind your actions, and it's that which is empowering your actions. So your actions are being empowered by your inner spiritual sense. So actually there's a spiritual trajectory that we talk about, and particularly in our environmental work we refer to it, but it actually refers everywhere. Awareness to attitude, to vision, to action, to culture, to world.
Wow.
But it all comes back to our awareness. And that's the key. And so, yes, if there's something I can do, let me do it. But as I think has come up, you know, let me do it out of the right motivation. So let me do it out of love. You know, I love this term I learned a few years ago, and I can understand it more and more, of sacred activism. Because so often activism is out of anger. And then is it going to bear fruit eventually? And it can help along the way. It's not totally ineffective, that's for sure. But ultimately, the greater impact is if we do our activism from that sacred space within, empowered by that connection with the divine, from our inner goodness, from our values. And that's what enables us to live by our values, actually. And we don't put our values to one side. So that sacred activism is very important. And we've done a lot, we've done in many areas, whether it's helping in reducing poverty, whether it's, but particularly also in the environmental field. We've been leaders in pioneering certain technologies for solar energy. In India, we're one of the biggest single institutional users of solar energy in India. And we've actually, helped whole villages turn around through another project called yogic farming. So actually meditating in the fields at each stage of crop development. And it's all organic. You don't need all the Terminator seeds and all those awful things that, were sold. And it's all natural. And the yield is greater. And the nutrition is greater in the yield.
Wow. So,
and it's been scientifically studied. And so we've really, especially in India where the organization's very big, we've helped to turn around a lot of people's lives. The lives of farmers in India have been very, very hard. Yeah.
How interesting. I mean, the power, people, I don't know if when people meet a meditation practice, do they realize what can happen, what could happen, because often quite rightly, we all meet it with a self-serving intention, I want it to change my life, but then you don't realize how much impact it can have on the world around me. So would you take us through a short guided meditation to finish? If that's
yes, okay. I'd love to do that. And then some silence, right?
Some silence would be great, yeah.
So please be comfortable, and you can have your eyes open or closed as you feel. And I'll share a few thoughts. Let me take a moment to go on my inner journey. A journey to the heart of the self. A journey to the core of my being. I am the being within, the soul, the light, seated in the center of my forehead, that tiny, beautiful light of the self. And my original nature. Is peace. I am a being of peace. And in this state of peace, I connect with the source of peace, the source of love, the source of truth. And the vibrations of the highest peace, the highest love, spread out into our world.
Thank you.
Amazing.
I don't think we've ever done anything like that on TV before. A few minutes of silence, but it was so beautiful.
And I think more TV shows should do that.
Yeah.
Let's spread the peace. So
Yeah.
write in and
Great.
let them know.
So thank you. Have you just any last final words of wisdom before you leave?
Well, you've, I hope, all experienced the peace. And now you know the power of peace. And so never think that you're too small to make a difference. Your vibrations, your state of being really matters to our world. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Sister
you.
Morin.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Well, sadly, we've reached the end of today's programme, and what a rich and uplifting programme it's been.
It's been an absolute honour to share this time with all our guests, Sister Morin, Neville Hodkinson, Lacky C, Sister Genty. Thank you all so much.
And thank you to our studio audience. You've been amazing. Until we see you again on The Light Show, take care. Remember to shine bright, stay light. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
We are off air. So we'd really like to thank you for being such a fabulous studio audience. So please give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you. That's fabulous. And we couldn't have done this program without the support of the Global Retreat Centre and all their fabulous volunteers. So let's give them a round of applause as well. Thank you, thank you. And talking of volunteers, if any of you want to make a contribution, there are some boxes that they've placed around the grounds, and you can put a few pounds in there. If not, just throw it to me. So thank you so much. Anything else? Anything you've got to add?
I think as you leave, you'll get a little pamphlet that's got some more information about the things that are happening in this retreat centre. So if you'd like to attend any of the free courses and things, then that's fantastic.
On your way out, the food, you get a tiny little sweet.
Whoa.
So
Don't forget
Joy's
that.
been busy, take that and a blessing. So
Thank you
so much.
Let's give all our presenters a fabulous presenters a round of applause. Serena, Joy. Thank you to all our presenters. And thank you to all of you. Have a fabulous evening. Stay peaceful. Hold on to it in your heart. I've certainly learned a lot from today. So thank you. Safe journey home. Good night. Good night. Oh.